good YouTube? I'm joined by DZ for one last final time.
How's it going, guys?
One last time in person. He gets dropped off at the airport later. We already dropped off Simo at the airport last night, which is why there was... I abandoned the stream hype. I'm so sorry, boys. But YCS Dallas was insane. I made this meme to make up for it, boys.
Yep, we spent... Well, we didn't spend. John spent like an hour on this, and it was well worth it.
Yeah, he definitely made the suggestions. It was all going to be Super Agent's face, and then we wiped out Super Agent. But this is a very accurate pie chart of the top 16.
Yeah, it was worth getting demonetized over. Basically, the top 16 was just the one Trickstar player, which I got the profile for, and then 15 Spiral players. Even the top 32, it was just the 3 non-Spiral players, and 29. We made a video similar to this with Simo before he left yesterday, and I had predicted that it was going to be like 25 Spiral players, but it was even more than I could have imagined.
Yeah, we were talking about how it's kind of the most fragile, best deck that there is. Like, it just seems like when something happens to it, there's a lot of times that it does just stop. But then there were so many hand traps in the room that happened back and forth. So, like, I have a hand trap for you. You got a hand trap for me. Who's running out of hand traps first?
Yeah,
like,
you just got to go watch or read the feature matches. Not watch. There was no stream. Read the feature matches because... so many times someone would just someone quick fix get drolled and then pass their turn. And if you look back at the Zodiac feature matches from when they first came out, that just didn't happen. You would have to play through Terror Top, Barrage, and then the normal summon. You'd have to have 3 different things to stop them from ending with Trident, where with Spirals, if you have a Ghost Ogre or a Droll or an Ash, a lot of times they just pass their turn, and that's just so weird for a deck that seems so fragile to make it so far and be so dominant. I don't know if people just don't know how to play against it or something. I mean, everyone was playing hand traps, so I feel like there was enough counters to it. I don't understand logically how this deck topped in this many spots. It seems
out of the field, we kind of talked about, we felt like it was matchup knowledge. A lot of people didn't seem to know how to play against it as well. Right. Like, they didn't know what to stop or where. A lot of people may not have put Baguska and their Pendulum Magicians in time. They were like, oh, my list is fine coming in how it has been. It's so consistent. And Bop, Baguska was really good against them too. And we're talking about, we didn't understand how Baguska didn't just push this deck, the Pendulum Magicians, into the top cut. And if you went into Zodiac, there's almost as many people thought that Pendulum Magicians would have been in the top cut as much as Spirals.
Yeah, and there was a similar vote that was which deck they thought they were going to win, and it was basically 50-50 on Spirals and Pen Magicians. People really thought, I mean, myself included, I knew Spirals was going to be the most dominant deck in the top 32, but they're just so fragile. In theory, they're very fragile. There's not Quick Fix can't just search anything, and it's a lot of the cards are susceptible to so many different hand traps. I mean, you see everyone playing Droll, Reaper, Ash, Ghost Ogre, Max C, all of these things to sort of end Spiral's turn, and yet it wasn't enough.
And it's also Invoked and Trickstars in the top cut with these decks. The Invoked deck at Deception, that's on his channel. Go check it out. It's really interesting to see that deck is so consistent that it still pierced the top cut here. It just didn't have a problem going through the field. And then Trickstars, which already have consistency issues, just seem to be able to cram more hand traps in than anybody with their engine because it's a consistent engine. So it's everybody's just throwing hand traps at each other.
Yeah, I'll say, it seems like as long as your deck can play 15 hand traps, you're going to be good. I mean, oddly enough, our Trickstar is even better with Dolces. You got Angeli, you got Mageline. Those are good 1-card starter cards, and you can just play 15 hand traps. Who cares? It seems like at this point, as long as your deck can play 15 hand traps, you actually have a chance to top.
And I want to talk about something else, is that there were so many tubers here that it was awesome. We have DZ, we have myself, Simo, we all planned that. Simply Slim and Johnny were bloodhounds for decklist. It was awesome watching them work.
I can't wait to see, probably today when this video's uploaded, they'll start uploading their videos. I feel like they probably got 20-ish deck profiles, if not the whole time.
I've already seen Johnny's been slamming them out already.
Oh my god, that's crazy. But there were other people there, Team APS, they were there, we hung out, well I hung out with them for 2 minutes. They were kind of doing their own thing. They were actually recording interviews and stuff. That was really cool. And obviously the hashtag Baby Dragon Squad, which we're all
Ooh,
part of.
2 minutes of seeing Alex there. That was very interesting.
He seemed to want to hang out with all of us, but
he had to go to a deck thing, you know. Yeah, the regional flight. That's why he zoomed off.
All right, fair enough. But we all had a great time, signed just a ridiculous amount of cards. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've never seen, like, I signed things I'd never signed before, like deck boxes, but, like, you got a Domino's uniform.
Yeah, if you guys don't watch my channel, you might not know, but I really like Domino's. It's like, in all my live streams, I mentioned that, like, when I end them, I'm just going to order Domino's, because it's, like, the best pizza place, best cheap pizza place. And
Papa John's.
And a fan actually gave me a Domino's uniform, and I wore it on the live stream a couple nights ago, and it was hilarious. It's 2XL, so it's like gigantic on me, but that's okay. I mean, it's sort of, I can wear it as a nightie. I can wear it as a nightie.
I can just imagine you opening the fridge and then looking at it, and your girlfriend comes out. It's like,
my Domino's uniform.
What are you doing? Special delivery. You also got a hat, too.
I did get a hat. I don't even wear hats, but I wore a hat on the live stream.
So I also wanted to talk about kind of the 3 most impactful cards of the weekend coming in, all from Circuit Break. Yeah. And that was our Double Helix, of course. Like, one card has never done so much for a deck, I think, in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, absolutely. And my theory with this is it's so weird, because obviously, I'm a big fan of Subterrors, so I'm a little disappointed that Spirals ended up being so good. But if you look at all the Spiral cards, all of them individually actually are really good. I mean, you look at a card like Master Plan, really good, as long as you can find a way to summon it. The field spell is actually just insane. I mean, not once per turn, gives your guys protection, recycles your cards in the end phase. Quick Fix, also not once per turn, has a revival effect, can search like half the deck. And all these cards in a vacuum are good. The deck just lacked consistency, it lacked explosiveness, and also Zoo just shits on it. Give him a card like Double Helix. I've talked about the example before with John and Alex. This card isn't like Spellbook of Judgment, where it's giving you an absurd effect. This one's just playing off the strengths that the deck already had previously set up, and by giving you easy access to Special Summon Master Plan or Search Anything, and then by also giving you sort of a floating effect, this card, it just automatically pushes those old cards to the next level. And I think that's cool. I think as much as I maybe don't like Spirals being 29 of the top 32 decks, this is like good legacy support. And I know it's maybe not legacy
it's
support.
A little early.
It's a little early for legacy support.
It's almost like they made Spirals for Link summoning, and they knew it was coming. And then they were like, yeah, like Beatrice broke BA back into the meta. So maybe there is another card that's done as much, but Helix, definitely having access to it so easily in the extract without even having to rely on a card in hand is insane.
It feels like if Burning Abyss got all 4 sets of their support and then got Dante, and we were like, holy shit, this fixes the whole deck.
Yeah, it's kind of their Dante.
It's basically their Dante, just a year late.
And also, evenly matched. The mind games here were insane. It's just almost uncomparable to any trap we've had before. But its problem is that it's one very specific place in time, the end of the battle phase, which both players have to agree to move on to. You can't just move to a phase as turn player. Like, that's why when players ask damage step, they're asking if you can move on to damage step. And no, still in battle step, I'm going to activate, you know, my card that's going to do something like Econ, Book of Moon, etc. Yeah. Those are old examples, but like here, the example would be, I'm going to activate Set Rotation, give you a field spell, you have a card on the field, you can't activate Evenly Matched from the hand anymore.
And now you've missed your entire battle phase to do nothing. It's crazy, like, this card was so hit or miss for people. I still think it's very good, but it was selling for we talked about this in the Market Watch, but it was selling for 90s on the floor during the weekend. I think vendors had them for even more. And it was just crazy that online right now they're only 50s, and I think that goes to show that people just were unsure of this. But if you watch through the deck profiles, some people loved it, some people hated it, and it does require a lot of different things to happen. You have to be going second, you have to open it, and your opponent has to not have set rotation. But if those 3 things fall into place, you instantly win the game. It's almost impossible to come back from this card if those things align.
And the final card that everybody says they wish they played when they didn't have it in their deck profiles, it's Borolo Dragon. Kind of when you get Reapers, this is your best backup plan, and it's a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, if you're playing Reaper, you're playing through Reaper because you want to open it. And a lot of the times, your opponent will Reaper you twice. the Helix first, and then they'll hit the Firewall Dragon because there's nothing else to hit. And then you're kind of left thinking, well, what the heck do I make? Proxy Dragon? Do I make the World Chalice guy? No, you make Borreload Dragon. It's a Link 4. It has some ridiculous effects. Alex Semo was hyping up this card all Friday, and it really paid off in a lot of people's deck lists. Pretty much everyone that played it said they loved it. And it's just so good. Even if you don't get double cherried, I mean, that might not happen every match. This card is still definitely a viable asset. You don't have to make Firewall Dragon all the time.
But I just want to definitely say, out of everything that happened this weekend, it was just fun. The people really make the events. Here's the X3 drop deck list squad. Yeah. Oh, that's insane. Someone just followed on Twitch. Yeah. I just got the... No. That's so funny. But definitely, I want to thank everybody who showed up that was there to, you know, make this event even better. I had a great time hanging out with everybody. You all were awesome house guests.
Yeah, I think, and to all of you that came out to live streaming, we had the... right now, we think it was the second biggest House of Champs or Zodiac Duelist live stream on Friday night. Yeah. Friday night with Simo and I's match. Thank you so much to all the people that came out and watched that insane 30 minutes where I kicked Alex Simo's butt.
You got the guest bed for the weekend.
Yeah, and if you did miss that, it is fully on my channel, and the entire live stream is actually on John's channel. So if you want to sit back, relax, crack a cold one with the boys, and watch some Yu-Gi-Oh content.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. I guess these guys, whenever I started saying, "What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the house," they took it literally. They just came on over.